Michael Myers, the infamous villain and monster of the Halloween series, created by John Carpenter in 1978. He's tall, quiet, and everlasting. With his large kitchen knife, he seeks to slay any and all teens during Halloween night, and his role in these films is placed amongst the legends and creators of the slasher horror we know today. But what makes Michael Myers so scary? What allowed this simple Shatner-masked, boiler-suited creature to rise through the ranks? Well, to answer that, we shall evaluate the myth of Michael Myers. When Halloween begins, the audience is shown a surreal, first-person perspective of a killer. A killer that stalks a young woman up into a room and stabs her several times to death. The killer then begins to flee the house, but is stopped by two adults that then rip off the mask to reveal a child. A boy with curly, golden hair, yet a confused and blank expression on his face, and a blood-soaked knife in his hands. Then the film jumps to current day. You see, from the very beginning, the audience is shown this simple story without any real context. A simple story about a tragic night that birthed a great evil that no one understands. It is in this way that myth begins. Michael Myers, from his first appearance, is not a person, but a story, an idea of a monster in human form. That exact idea expanded when Dr. Loomis was driving in the dead of night to calm his nerves about Michael. When driving with a nurse, he explicitly asked her to refer to Michael as an it, not a him, implying Michael something unidentifiable. And when Michael escapes in that very car, Loomis remorses in accepting that he allowed pure evil to escape the institution that night. And furthered again with Laurie and Tommy approaching the old Myers household. Tommy constantly warns Laurie of the boogeyman and the tales of what happened in the house. Of course, Tommy is shrugged off for just being a story to scare children, a story deeply embedded into the town's history by now. And that story is exactly what we saw in the beginning. A tale with no context other than the brutal massacre of what occurred. It is after this hinting that Michael Myers begins to stalk Laurie all around town. And while the film makes blatant shots of showing off him staring directly at her, it never shows him move. He just simply stares there for a moment, and then he's gone the next. He hangs around long enough to show you he's there, but not long enough for his image to become comfortable. For it is in these moments that this shape, known as Michael Myers, begins to form. You don't have all the details on him, and you never will. But slowly, he's becoming a more concrete image in your mind about who he is. The film allows each of his reappearances to hold a camera shot longer and longer, as the creeping suspicion is growing over Laurie and the audience themselves. Cue the rest of the movie, killing teenagers caught with their pants down and quietly murdered by Michael Myers until we reach Laurie, who seeks to protect the children she oversees, appearing successful at first until it becomes apparent that you can't end Michael Myers. And so you see, this is the exact beauty of Halloween. Michael Myers, or the Shape, isn't just someone in a costume killing people. He's a malicious being who somehow manifests around to catch teenagers at their most vulnerable and when they least expect him. He's not shamble after them or run through their nightmares, because he's not in a hurry. When the film shows him moving, he merely walks, knowing that he will eventually get his target, no matter how fast or how clever they seek to get away from him. And with the constant switching narratives between Dr. Loomis and Laurie, we as the audience get more subtle clues as to the nature of Michael's existence, while also watching the terror he inflicts upon others he haunts. And in no way does Dr. Loomis' storyline diminish that threat, as each discovery he makes seems to only empower Michael that much more. Showing how each shot with Michael and one of the teenagers casts a striking size difference between him and the teenagers, with several upward shows to showcase his imposing size. When he manifests, his mask is the first to apparate out of the very darkness from where he lives. The color balance of his outfit and the mask allow his mask, like a phantom, to always appear and never be missed by the audience. And even when his mask is torn from his face, the face underneath is contorted and misshapen, almost reeling in pain from having his true face torn from him. Despite that being his true face, it's unnatural and disturbing to see. Because the myth of Michael Myers, the myth of the Shape, is the mask, not the person underneath it. And to allow your villain to be unmasked so unceremoniously, yet still carry its own depth and speaks to the levels of visual horror that were crafted around Michael Myers. Then to finish it all off, The movie ends with Dr. Loomis shooting 3 bullets into Michael. He falls off the balcony. But lowering Loomis's safety is not permanent, as when they look over, Michael's nowhere to be found. No footprints, no blood trail, just an empty void of looming threat. And then to brilliantly end the film, the camera returns to the same first-person perspective of Michael, looking out over the different houses in town, before resting upon the Myers house, recovering, and waiting to strike again. And it's in that Michael Myers is not just a standard slasher villain, because he is not a slasher. Slashers are human. Michael Myers is an it, and it is not human. It is not killable. It will always return. For Michael Myers is an entity of pure evil guised as a human, an entity that will return to finish the work it had once started, to forever prolong the myth of Michael Myers. But, that's all I got for now. Let me know in the comments below if you like this more immersive style of analysis, and maybe I'll give it another shot in the future. But until then, share this with your friends, and I'll see you all next time.